What's going on, people? Welcome to the live match reaction. Palace 0, Everton 0 in the FA Cup third round. The game goes to a replay as there's no extra time or penalties. I'll be honest, we've done the watch along, me and Hamber. Of course, Hamber's not here. I'm joined by Patrick and Stan for the live match reaction. But the lines are open. The lines are open for you to join us to have your say on the game and more. But as always, if you do enjoy the show, if you could smash the like button, that'll be much appreciated. Helps the algorithm to help the channel grow, where we can do more content as a result of it. Of course, a lot of you know how I feel from the watch along. For those who haven't watched it, I'm tired. But I'm going to give my opinion anyways on Palace and that game a bit later on. But I'll go to you first, Patrick. Patrick, 0-0 after the 3-1 win against Brentford. We saw France start the game as well. We struggled, in my opinion, anyways, against 10-men Everton in the 20 minutes or so that we played after they got sent off. What did you make of it all?
Difficult to watch. Indeed, difficult to watch. I want to give credit to you and Hambo because without you two, I couldn't go through 90-plus minutes because I turned down Glenn Murray, who was on ESPN Plus doing the commentary or co-coms, to put you guys on. You guys are great because, honestly, that is one of the worst games of football I've seen in a very long time. Says a lot, man, because I'm telling you right now, man, this Roy era, it's become a Roy era in a moment. It's just going down the drain. This has been terrible, man. Today we're playing. I give him credit today. He did start França, but for the love of God, play the kid on the correct position. He's not a right midfielder or right attacker. He's a number 10 or he's a left-sided attacker. So he could have done one thing today. He could have just started Malcolm Aboué, who he obviously hates, on the right side, and França on the left side. Why he played Jeffrey Schlupp? I do know why. He loved Jeffrey Schlupp. But honestly, made no sense. Ahmada sub came on, tried a little thing like that. We couldn't break down 9 men. Sorry, it was 9 and it was 10 men because they had that guy who was off for a while. But honestly, it was turgid. It was hard to watch. I'm just done, man. I can't watch this anymore. I don't know when the replays. I'm not watching it. I'm not joking. I'm not watching replay. I can't anymore with this guy. Until he's gone, I can't. And now he's not going anywhere. So it's just hard to watch, hard to deal with. I can't. I don't know. I just can't anymore. Sorry.
Yeah. Stan, are you on the same wavelength as Patrick there in terms of it was a struggle to watch, or did you see it differently?
Oh, mate, I'm buzzing because we're in the hat for the next round. Like, obviously, listen, I don't know how Mark Bright and Steve Parish can sit next to each other, and our American owners can watch from afar, even if they do, and they can watch this dross and watch what the fans have to see week in, week out, and find this acceptable. This is abysmal. Like, where's this football club going? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't even just rubbish, man. Like, he's what's going on here? Do you know what I mean? This is crap.
I don't know what's going on. I actually don't know what's going on. I'll be honest. The best way of describing this game for me, anyways, personally, is I see it as torture. Honestly, I see it as torture watching my club play. It reminds me of the last season that Roy was in charge before Vieira came in as well. Just dreadful, negative. I mean, they had 10 men and they create more chances than us. That pretty much says it all. I don't really have to go out there and explain my other feelings. They had 10 men and they still create more dangerous chances than us.
And also,
it's his first start. It's his first start in how long? And what happens? We take him off. Take him off. Whereas where we've been screaming about Elise, or not even us, the medical department has been screaming about Elise for weeks. And I know he's been playing great, but you don't want to take him off. But you want to take off France. So he's had his first start since joining the club in the summer, not January, since joining the club in the summer, and you go and take him off. It's just
you know what,
same old negative football. Same old negative subs. Why is Will Hughes playing as a number 10? Will Hughes is not a number 10. He has never been a number 10. He's not a number 10. We have seen it when Eze was out injured. When Hughes comes on as a number 10, that just fucking pisses me off because it's just pointless. He's not a number 10. He's not a number 10. What did we create? What did we create against 10-man Everton? You told me. Well, look, outcoached once again. For me, as I said, after the Brentford game, I was not going to come on there and say, oh, look, Hodgson is great or whatever. let's see the sample side. Let's see if things change. And I'll be honest, yes, Elise wasn't playing today, but it's still not good enough. The players out there, with the players that we got out there, it's not. It feels flipping. I don't know how to describe it. It just feels so shit. Maybe that's the word. Shit watching us play. It shouldn't feel like that. And I'm not trying to act spoiled as well. There will be some games where the performance is bad, and some games the performance is better than other games. But this is not even that case. If we're being real, this is what we've seen all season long. Yes, there has been a few performances here and there, but majority of it is negative, and I can't deal with this for another 4 or 5 months. I just can't. We can accept losing as Palace fans. We have lost so many games. We've gone through even worse runs, and I've said this before as well. But you want to see something. You want to see a coach side, especially in attack, with the players that will go out there. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. And honestly, I just ask myself, what is the point? What is the point? Because what was the point of that game? I don't know. The replay is not going to help us.
When is the replay?
And it's a pointless game. It's a fucking waste of time. Wasted our time for what? For a replay to go Goodison Park. Who cares? I was looking forward to a cup tie. Maybe we could get a cup run going. Who cares if we beat Everton? Honestly, who cares on the replay? I don't think we will, but who cares at this point? Because I'm not watching that for another 4 to 5 months. I'm sorry, I can't deal with it. I don't care about Steve Parish's pockets or flipping Harris Blitz's pockets or Tex's pockets. He's not good enough. He's not. Roy Hodgson has done a good job, yes, to a certain extent in terms of keeping us up in the last 10 games. But this football is just dreadful. It's dreadful with the players that we go out there. And I'm telling you, if I'm Elise, if I'm Eze, if I'm all these other players, if I'm Anderson, why on earth would we want to stay at this football club? Are you that stupid to stay at the football club? Why would you want to stay here? Because I don't see no ambition as a fan. How are you going to see ambition as a player to push on to the levels that you know that you can achieve? I just see it as pointless. Palace Football Club right now, today, what did we show to the world? Or not to the world, because on ITV4, I don't think the world was watching. But to everyone else out there, that we're just a pointless football club. Honestly, what are we doing? You told me. Go ahead, Sam.
Someone just said the replay's on the 15th of Jan. Brilliant. Can't wait for that one. I agree that we are a pointless football club. We are absolutely pointless. We probably just shouldn't be in this division. Like, just with the way that we're run, the people that run us, the whole structure of it, we're embarrassing. Like, there's articles coming out in The Athletic, like, just absolutely gunning us by Palace journos as well. Like, Steve Parish and his videos, having the say over this, over that. I mean, we are like, today was dire. It was absolutely dire. And like, honestly, after 11 Premier League seasons, I'm going to get cussed for this. We should be looking to go very far in every single cup competition. We should be looking at an opportunity for us to win our first major trophies. There was an article today, again, The Athletic. We are the biggest club not to have won a major trophy. And that's going to continue for my lifetime, for Patrick's lifetime, and probably even for yours, D. Because we are honestly run. The guy has got to go. He's a lying, thieving bastard. Parish, get out. Honestly.
Yeah. I don't know. He was at the game. He's probably happy with that. After the Brentford game, we all know the ball's going to happen. He's not going to go. Hodgson's not going to go, is he? We're going to have to stick with that.
He's bringing Steve Cooper, and he's no better.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I just feel numb. It's like, what's the point? It's genuinely, what is the point? Majority of the time when we play, why are we even going out on the pitch? It feels like we were playing for a point today. That's what it feels like from the subs, of the way we approach the game. We're playing for a point in the flipping cup game where you can't even get a point. Nothing makes sense. The tactics of the subs didn't make sense. It made sense for a league game under Hodgson, but not for a cup game. Did you realize it was an FA Cup tie? I don't know. Let's bring on the first guest anyways. Of course, there's a lot of callers today, so we'll try to go through them as quickly as possible. If you're enjoying this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I guess you're not probably enjoying Palace, but if you're enjoying the stream, if you can do that, that'd be much appreciated. But yeah, let's bring on Cody first. My laptop is a bit lagging, so sorry about that. Cody, let's just get straight on to the point. 0-0 against Everton. We'll face them again in the replay. I did see you in the watch along as well. You weren't really happy. But your thoughts?
I'm at the point, man, where it's like I don't even know if I want to watch the replay. I mean, as long as we got Roy as our manager, I have no feeling at all to even watch that game. It's just and at this point, you know, you can't really. I don't want to really put all the blame on Roy. Yes, he's done terrible, but man, the players look bad today. I mean, Anderson having terrible tackles, Gahey passing to nobody. I mean, these are our top players. And Eze, I mean, I don't know, man. He looks like a shell of himself. I mean, I haven't seen decent Eze ball since maybe a couple months ago when he came back from the injury or whenever he did. But, I mean, our star guys aren't performing. And I don't know if that's the case of if they don't have the belief in Roy anymore or if they're just really that out of form. Now, I will say this. I mean, I'm still completely Roy out. He needs to go. He just the decisions he made in this game, I think, cost us. I mean, it kind of goes to show it's almost like karma, if y'all didn't notice. You know, we take França off, and what was it, 3 minutes later, Everton gets a red card, and then the chance we finally have to attack our attacking players are off. It's almost like instant karma. Like, Roy, this is what you get for taking off, you know, a young kid that was looking forward to playing this game. That created chances for us, and you know, instead you want to have 6 players on defense and try to make this a draw. Typical Roy ball, sitting back, per usual. Like, it's just, man, I don't know what to say or think or do about this club anymore. It's the management, it's the office, you know, it's everything, and it's depressing to watch. It really is.
So
Yeah,
I will say about
depressing. And
sorry to interrupt. I will say about Eze, to be fair to him, he was screwed as soon as he got booked because he couldn't challenge, he couldn't go in for a challenge, he was limited. I mean, he forced a great save out of there, goalie at the end. He was the one that actually had the chances to put it away for us. But I agree, like, yeah, top to bottom, it's a mess.
It is a mess. But what do you think of, just quickly on the Eze dive? Was he rightly booked?
I don't think he was.
I
That should have been. I don't think it was a dive either. I mean, you could obviously I don't know who the Everton player was. The defender had his leg out. I mean, he was going the direction his leg was sticking out. So I mean, there's no way that should have been a dive. It's just Eze how he plays, man. And if refs want to call him for that, it's a load of bull, man. It just wasn't a dive at all. But with the Eze thing, I guess I need to take consideration. Maybe he's not playing as well just because, you know, he is still coming back from injury. But then if that's the case, you got to look at it from a different angle. It's like if he isn't fully 100% yet, then why are we still playing him? Maybe this game we should have maybe put França at the 10, had Malcolm on one side, and, you know, if Roy once slept that bad to be on the field, had him on the other side. I mean, maybe that's what we could have done different. But also in the game, I think he probably had França on the wrong side the whole time in the game anyways. I think França should have had a better chance of cutting back in and shooting rather than trying to run the ball down the wing and try to cross it in. I understand he's a good crosser. I get it. But you could tell Everton knew what we were doing. It just goes back to Roy, his tactics. Everybody sees what we do it because we do it every week, same way. And it's just like, you know, we got to try something different. The only person that was able to do that is Elise. But because of his decisions last game, we don't have him. And we don't know how long he's out. But, you know, it's when I said it last week, this is Roy's fault. Man, I know the board's got a lot to do with it. We're not getting support with him. But, I mean, in my opinion, you can't tell me that we couldn't win the game with the players we had on the pitch today. And it's, I believe, once again, because of Roy and how he wanted, you know, his subbing, his choices, his decision-making is what lost us the game once again.
I want to talk about that point that Cody made about the subs. and injuries. Listen, man, that has to be talked about a lot more. All right, the whole thing with Elise getting injured and not being subbed out. He scored 2 goals, going for a hat trick. He should be off that. He should be out of that game. I was at the game at Liverpool. I was there, and the buzz around the crowd was that he wasn't going to start him because the medical staff told him not to play him. He came on late in that game. Then he played against match after that would have been who did they play?
Man City.
He played Man City after that, and he obviously scored a penalty kick. But the point was, he played a full 90 in every single game he was back, and he was told not to play the kid. Eze clearly is not 100%. You can tell. Why start him today? Why?
Yeah.
Have him off the bench like Edouard. Just bring him in slowly, put Francois in the 10, and then, like you just said, put Boué on the pitch. If you want to play slot, whatever you got to do. There was no reason to play Eze again today because, again, he clearly is not 100% fit. You can just tell. He had moments today, definitely had moments in the game. The free kick was terrible. He had a couple of really good shots, and he was moving around the pitch okay. But he hasn't hit the height he hit last year. And everybody was back gassing up Hodgson. Hodgson has made Eze a better player. Has he really done that? Are we sure about that? Or that Eze still hasn't really, reached the heights he could, okay? So, again, the injury thing's a big deal. And it's not just Olise. It's Eze. It's Edouard. We've got plenty of players, our top players have been injured that, again, have to handle better. And, again, he's not using the squad. Why is Malcolm Boy not playing today? Why is he not playing?
Yeah.
Malcolm Boy is a right-sided, left-sided attacker. Put him on that side and put Francois on the side. And if you want to play Ahmed in the 10, then you have to play Eze.
Yeah.
There's no Eze and there's no Schlupp. Simple. How much work we have been today with those kids playing? It's just frustrating, man. Really
a lot of people will talk about Eze, of course, because rightly so, because he's our star player, right? And look, Patrick, 2 things can be right. I do think when Roy came in, Eze had a positive influence. He did get the best out of Eze, but now that influence is clearly gone, or maybe he's not 100% fit. But yeah, I do think he did have that influence that Vieira couldn't have on Eze, but now that is okay. Wearing off.
Let me go back on that. Is it because the team we played were easier to play? Leeds, Southampton?
No, I don't think so, because we faced easier teams.
I disagree.
Eze hasn't been great since coming back. Maybe because not 100% fit, but I did think that he did have that influence in the squad. You did see that the morale went up. But as it drags on with Hodgson, and when he gets same old, I think that morale just goes downhill because it's same old. But when he first did come in, he did have that positive influence. But, where do we go from here, Cody? What happens here? I mean, we're here, we're upset, people are upset. I don't understand it. Everyone is upset, but we all think that nothing's going to change.
I mean, it's hard to tell, man. I don't know. Like this, the office and the board and everybody, they've thrown everybody for a loop. Nobody knows what's going to happen anymore. As any supporter for Palace, I mean, I know all of us are screaming for answers. And I mean, I think it's fair to us with where we're at right now that we get some answers, because there's none. There's no direction that they're showing us. They're letting Roy just drop us down the table with no change, no indication, really. I mean, I think, what was it? Paris had backed Roy, saying that, as a couple weeks ago, after we were on a bad losing streak before the Brentford game, he had said, he was looking into managers, but it didn't sound like he was ready to change out Roy at all. So the only thing we could do is, I mean, I guess sit back, take a seat, and just watch and hope and pray that we don't get relegated. I mean, that's the only thing I'm seeing now.
Without sounding too, I can't do this.
I can't either, dude. I can't. But it's like,
how can Paris?
What else is there going to happen? Because
what's going to happen now? What's going to happen now? We're going to lose Elise. We're going to lose Gehi. We're going to lose Eze. That's definitely going to happen. And we're going to lose our 4 best players because
of not replace them.
Acting. Say again, Stan. Sorry.
And not replace.
We will replace them. We will replace them.
We will, but we're not replace of that high caliber because they won't come to.
It'll be less talented. We replace them.
It'll be less talented players. It will be. We're taking a shot at players like the kid from Peterborough. 1 year was a decent player. I've seen him play, but he's not the caliber of Gehi. Yeah, he played for under 19 team and won the Euros last summer. He's a good player, but he's playing at Peterborough, which is what, League One now. I mean, he's not at the level. Gehi was playing Championship when he was a Chelsea Academy player. You know what I mean? Well, we placed them, but they're not going to be a caliber of who we're going to lose. Elise is going to go to a top 6 side. Eze will go to a top 10 side. Gehi will go to a top 6 side. You know what I mean? And we're going to be left with replacements who aren't at that level.
Anderson will go as well.
Or he'll go to Newcastle. So exactly. So the point is that what we're going to do is that we can have a manager here who's going to drag us down, hopefully not into relegation, but drag us down to the point where we lose our best players. And where do you go from there? When you lose those 4 players, we are going to be in the mud.
We'll be in the championship next year. I mean, we'll be dropped.
If
there's
not,
no way we can survive
Cody,
without these guys.
You're right.
There's no way we can.
Look,
I think
Cody, it was great having you on. But I was waiting as well. Hopefully, we'll catch up with you again soon. I don't know when the replay is, but if we don't, it's probably going to be the Arsenal game.
15th.
But
Monday, January 15th. Be there or be square.
I don't know. I don't know if it's January 15th, but if it is, then that's the press. I'm actually looking forward to no more games before.
Take care, Cody. Great talking to you.
All right, you too, guys. Have a good night.
See you later.
Good night.
Okay, let's bring on the next guest. But if you're enjoying the stream, make sure to hit the like button. And if you're new here, subscribe to not miss out on future Palace content. Let's bring on, I don't know if Kenny's there. Kenny was actually next, but is he there? Can you show your face? Yeah, he's there. Let's bring on Kenny next. Kenny, 0-0 against Everton. The game goes to replay. What did you make of it?
I'm so happy that I did not waste my money to go to that match today, because that match was a waste of time. Waste of 90 minutes. Yeah, I just feel sorry for the fans that went there tonight, because I think the fans wasted money today. They wasted time, wasted money today, because that was just a poor match today. Crystal Palace don't know what they're doing. The board don't know what they're doing. The fans, the manager don't know what he's doing. Even the players know what they're doing. For me, I don't know why the manager doesn't want to play MEOB. I don't know why he doesn't want to play him. What's the point of him going to every match, just sitting on the bench? What's the point of him doing that every game? It would be best for him just to stay at home. There's no point coming. What's the point coming and you're never playing in the match in the first place? And then it's the same players every single game. The same rubbish matches every single game. Thank God this season I didn't renew my season ticket this season. Thank God I did not do that, because this season has just been a waste of season. And then every year is the same position. Palace never progresses, and I don't know when Crystal Palace will ever progress, because this is a waste of season. And this FA Cup match, I don't see Crystal Palace doing nothing this year. I think this year it's just going to be the same as every single season that's been happening until something changes. But I don't see anything changing so fast now. But I just feel sorry for the fans.
Yeah, well, a lot of fans did go, and the weather was not nice as well. You're going.
2 things. You can have my season ticket. I have one. You can have mine if you want it. It's up to you. And secondly, Malcolm Abui has been on the bench 11 times this season, not played 1 minute. I looked it up. 11 times on the bench that kid's been and not played 1 minute. I mean, what are we doing right now? Like, what are we doing? Does that make any sense?
For me, yeah, if it's not going to play, yeah, if you're not going to play him, let him go. Let him go and learn them.
Exactly. Let him go somewhere else.
To somewhere that is going to play. There's no point of him just on the bench. What's the point of him just being there? It's just wasting time on the bench. I'd rather for him be in his house, watching the game from his house, or go to a team that is going to play him. Because there's no point just sitting there. What's the point of him just warming the bench up? And I don't know why Hodgson doesn't trust him. This is the game that just try him, see what he can do. Just let's see. What's the point of him being there and we're not even saying nothing? It's a waste of time.
And that's the thing. I don't know how good the kid is. I've seen him play for 23, 21, so quite a few times. I don't know how good he is. But the point is, give him a chance. What do you have to lose? Especially a game like today. What did he have to lose by putting him on the pitch today? Just put him on. If he plays poorly, okay, I'll say, okay, he wasn't that great. But he doesn't get, the kid hasn't played 1 minute all season. Have we been that good? Have we been that good where he can't play 5 minutes in the game?
No one in the team has been good. No one in the team has been good. Everyone's been bad.
Baffling. Yeah.
France has started today, Kenny.
Even the strikers are not good. The strikers don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, France has started today, which was a positive. What did you make of his performance? He played down the right-hand side, which he hasn't done when he has come off the bench. So he's out of position there. But he also got subbed off during the game as well. What do you make of his first start for Palace?
Yeah, I think he did well today. I think he played very, very, very well today. But the problem I see is that Hodgson will not play him again. I don't think we'll play him again. That's the only problem that I see. I don't think Hodgson trust trust the young lads. I only think he likes to play the same formation. He doesn't like to try something else. That's why Crystal Palace will never go nowhere with this club and with the owners that they have now if we don't try something else, because nothing is going to happen. Even the January transfer window, I would just say nothing's going to happen this year.
Kenny, Roy Hodgson flogs the same players every single week. That's what I'm telling you. He flogs the same players. And again, there was a clip about França in an article, and apparently that deal was agreed before Roy came back to the club. He was banked to be signed, etc., etc. And I guarantee you, Hodgson probably didn't want him. He probably wanted James McCarthy, or he probably wanted. I'm trying to think of a dead Tom Cleverley or some deadbeat player to go and play for him. So do you know what I mean? He is sucking the life out of this football club. Him and Steve Parish, the dynamic duo, they are sucking the life out of this football club. Honestly, in my opinion, the HF, as a voice of the fans need to really start making their displeasures known at games. And we need to start looking at Parish out banners, Roy out banners, etc., because people are fed up. Like, we need to get our message across. We need to do something to try and get these idiots that run our club to act in some sort of way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you. The problem I see is that if people start boycotting games and stop going, I think that's when something will change. Because look at teams like Brighton, with good managers, good owners, and now they're playing Europa League. Look how many seasons Crystal Palace has been in the Premier League. Not even trying to get Europe, not even trying to get top 10. Every season is the same nonsense, fighting relegation every season. And for me, I think it's a waste of time. And I think same thing will happen next season, the season after, if nothing changes in the club. And I feel sorry for the fans, because the owners is just wasting the fans' time. People coming there. I think today just tells me that Crystal Palace is going nowhere this year. And Eze shouldn't even be playing at the moment. Eze should be coming on as a sub. Put people that are fit on the bench. Let them play. Let the kids play sometimes. Give them a chance. Don't play the same team every single game.
He took the sting out of. Well, he didn't have any sting in it, but like, when he brought on Will Hughes, that was the end of it for me. Do you know what I mean? Because Hughes, when he brought on Will Hughes and played him at 10, that was the end of it for me.
He's not a 10. He's not a 10. He's not a 10. He's not a 10.
Yeah.
He's not a 10.
For
I can't talk with that.
Let me say that for me, there's so many people in that club that needs to say it's time up. Will Hughes needs to go. James Tompkins needs to go. Metata needs to go. It's not a good striker. It's a championship striker. I don't see anything. Edward is not good because Edward doesn't look good. I
you don't want us to have a team at this rate. you think everyone is...
I can't be having that. No, Kenny, you were doing good.
We're going to be left with Mark Bright and Steve Parish up front.
I'm telling you, let me tell you something here. You need somebody that can score goals. You don't want somebody that will score one goal in a month. You need somebody that can score goals. That's the problem. Because are lacking. There's no goal scorers in there. How many times this season are you scored a goal for it? Or Edward scored?
Kenny, Edward has 6 goals. He's been injured for a couple of weeks. He has more goals than Eddie and Nketiah, who we're linked with and apparently prepared to pay 40 million quid for. So, and Mateta. Yeah, he has more goals than Rasmus Højlund. He has more goals than Anthony. He has more goals than. Do you know what I mean? So they're not the problem.
There are worse players than
there are worse players.
Tompkins, Hughes, I got no problem. Ward, I got those guys. You're right, but I can't be having no Mateta and Edward slander on there. I'm sorry.
For me, that's the problem. I think the strike force are not good enough. Look how many goals that if you compare the other strikers together, how many goals have they scored? If you tell me how many goals since the season. If it wasn't, let me tell you something. If it wasn't for Zaha, I think Crystal Palace have gone down so many years, so many times.
Yeah, 100%. He's carried us. He's carried us for years. But let's Kenny, there's other people that's playing as well. it's great having you on, and hopefully we catch up with you again soon.
Thanks, Kenny.
Yeah, thank you very much,
Thank you,
man.
mate. Cheers.
Mate,
All the
take
best.
care, right? All right, buddy. Take care.
That was Kenny having his say. Sorry to those waiting behind the scenes. We'll try to go through the guests as quickly as possible, but also give everyone the opportunity to have their say on the game as well, because everyone's been waiting for a while. Let's bring on Henry. I think he's gone to the game today. Henry?
All right.
I feel sorry.
You look wet, Henry. You're right, mate. You look
You're
wet.
right. The weather's not
Yeah,
nice.
man, it's fucking pouring down. Jesus.
Yeah, the weather's not nice. For me, the performance wasn't
I
good
didn't
enough.
laugh. I'm sorry.
I feel sorry. I feel sorry for you. I shouldn't laugh.
Mate,
but I
I
feel sorry
don't
for
know
you.
why I went to this game, man. I kind of wish I didn't now. Like, that was absolutely pathetic. Like, I mean, what can I say? I mean, seriously, what the fuck was that? Like, that's what I have to say. Like, what the actual fuck was that performance? Like, it was just so messy. Like, we did all right, and then we did all right for a bit, and then when we slumped, we really slumped. Like, we were just conceding chance after chance after. Like, you know how lucky we were to get away with a 0-0. Like, this isn't just a 0-0 where you park the bus and, you know, you defend solidly and you grind out a draw. This was a 0-0. The only reason it was 0-0 was because Everton were absolutely rubbish. They just didn't have their finishing boots.
I don't think we were lucky to get 0-0 though, Henry. I think
No,
we'd have been
were.
better off losing this game than going to Everton midweek.
No, but that's a separate point though. I kind of feel like, you know what? That's a good point though, because when I was sitting there, I was thinking to myself, and this is weird because I don't normally feel like this, but I was thinking, you know what? I'd rather actually lose this game than draw it and get a replay, because that replay is going to do nothing but hinder us. The last thing we need right now is a replay, because A, we're playing at Goodison Park. Everton are very strong there. B, it just increases our chances of more injuries, which we already have enough injuries. And C, like, you know, we're not going to win. We're probably not going to win anyway. So what's the point?
Come on, Henry. Cup run. We're going to have cup run. Come on, man. Cup run.
Cup run. Nah, sorry.
The magic of the cup, Henry.
Come on,
Magic of
Henry.
the cup.
Come on, man. Cup run.
No,
France had his first start today, Henry.
France
What do you
was
make of
good.
that?
France was good. I like the way he played. I don't know why Roy took him off though. He was our most dangerous player, I thought. Like, why are you taking him off? And as for Hughes playing in the 10, oh my god! I mean, if you want proof that Roy is losing his marbles, just look at every single time that he plays Will Hughes as a 10, and that will tell you everything you need to know. Like, how does this guy not know that Will Hughes is not a number 10? You talk to anyone in the game of football, nobody has ever said or described him as a 10. So why are you putting him there?
He's a defensive midfielder to come off the bench for the last 20 minutes at best, is what he is.
Exactly. That's what he is.
Henry, I have
That's
a quick
what he
question
is.
for you. Where do you sit in Selhurst Park?
The Homesdale.
Okay.
Upper.
And what's the general vibe and general consensus around where you sit?
People are fed up. I know you can't blame. I'm fed up too.
So why is no one staying behind to give Hodgson what for as he walks down a tunnel? Why is no one singing over at the main stand and telling Parish to get out or to sort it out? Why is no one doing that?
I mean, people are making their voices heard, but people just don't do it collectively, you know? If we all got together and, you know, sang Parish out or something like that, so they've done something to actually properly protest, then that would be much more meaningful. But it's just, I don't understand, like, where this club is going. It's not going anywhere. That's the thing. It's literally not going anywhere. And we're literally just being dragged by our best players. You know, Ebbs, Elise was injured today, but, like, you know, what are we just rubbish if we don't have Elise? Like, what kind of team is just crap without one player? I mean, and then you got Guehi and Anderson, but they play every single game, man. There is not one game that Guehi and Anderson don't play. If one of them gets injured, what do we do then? You can't put Richards at the back because he's been fucking playing as defensive midfielder. You can't play Holding because he's injured too. So what do we do? You know what I mean? It's just this whole club
He was good today, Richards. He was good. He was good
He
today.
was all right,
very
but I think
I like him.
the thing that holds Richards back is he can't make progressive passes. That's the thing.
Well, yeah, but he's not a centre mid.
No, but if we had someone there like a Takure, or we just don't have that. We just don't have it. We just don't have that player who can progress the
Ozo
ball
played
in that
well, I
position.
thought, when he came on. Don't you think, Henry? Ozo did well today when he came on.
Ozo did really good. I like Ozo. I think he's a fair play to the guy. But I mean,
Ahmada wasn't great, but then he put him on the wing, and he's not a winger.
yeah, but like it's just embarrassing. Like this whole season is basically, if we go down, this is going to be a disastrous season. But even if we don't go down, this whole season just feels like a massive waste of time. I mean, it's just a massive season that we've just wasted by having Roy Hodgson when we could have had a better manager. And it's just...
You know what the problem is as well, though, Henry, is that some of our fan base are so fickle, they genuinely believe that, like, we're just going to get through, finish 14th, and over the 6-week break in the summer or whatever it is, Parish is going to work it out and work a miracle.
It's not.
And it's just it's shocking.
It's shocking.
And yeah, I'm at a point where people might call me stupid. I can see some comments in the chat. Fair enough, you're entitled to your opinion, but I'm at the point where we need to start hounding out Steve Parish and Roy Hodgson, because enough is enough.
Well, I don't know why. I mean, I don't know why it's taken so long. I really don't know why it's taken so long to like.
Henry, I just want to quickly ask, after the game, because I was doing a watch along, so I couldn't actually hear what happened after the game. What was the reaction like from the fans after the game? Was there a clap, or was it silent? Was there what was it?
To be honest, like where I was, people were just applauding the players because they tried.
Okay.
But I think it was just like a bit of like sort of like meh, you know what I mean? Like it's just we haven't lost, but we haven't won, but we've sort of played shit. Like it was just flat. I think that's the kind of the word to sort of describe the mood among the fans right now. It's just flat. Because
no, it's just interesting because the only time I was there, the only game I haven't been to at home was this game. Funny enough, but the for example, the Bournemouth game, it was the boos were there, for example, and people were frustrated. So I'm just curious to see how people were at the ground today. But look, just quickly, Henry, there's other people waiting, so we're just gonna have to rotate. FA Cup replay. I don't know when it is. We've got that
January 15th. I told you.
What? Said it like four times. You don't listen to
what I'm doing?
No, but is it actually on January 15th?
That's when the replay's on.
January the 15th, right?
January 15th. Book your train ticket or ring Nick and get him a drive you and get your ticket. You know what they should do, actually? You know what they should do? The club should pay for everyone's ticket and everyone's travel up there, because whoever goes up there and pays money deserves a medal.
Yeah, mate, that's true. But you know what, right? January the 15th. This is how pathetic and sad it is. I'm just going to pretend that game isn't happening. I'm just going to mentally block it out of my head. January 15th.
Yes, I like that, Henry. Me too.
If I see Palace, if I see anything on my phone that says Everton v Palace, FA Cup replay, nope. I'm doing something else, watching a film, going to the cinema. I don't care. I'm doing anything else but watching that pile of shit.
Love it.
Even if, like, it's just, what is the point? And for the fans that do go, fair fucking play. I applaud
Henry,
them, but I just can't be asked.
I have a fantastic quote from Twitter to send you on your way, mate. So take this when you get home, wherever you live, when you're getting on the train. Think about
Steve Parish is taking the club to the next level? Is that it?
No. Hodgson is worth 100 million to the Palace shareholders and pennies to the fans. What an epic disconnect.
Can I just say one more thing before I go? Right? One more thing. Do you remember when Sunderland kept just about sort of avoiding the drop and doing the same sort of cycle every year? We are basically the London equivalent of Sunderland. That's all I'll say.
I'll see you in League One then.
Brilliant.
Look, Henry, thank you for coming on today. And get home safe. All right, then. That was Henry having his say. Let's bring on Quinton next. If you're enjoying this, by the way, people, if you can smash the like button, that'll be much appreciated, and subscribe as well. Quinton, Fans since 1975. You've seen it all. Going through this thing.
Boy, you beat by 3 years, Quentin. 73, 72. 73.
You and Patrick basically on the same level. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you view it, I haven't managed to watch Palace for that long. But today, 0-0 against Everton at home. What did you make of it?
Well, it's always fascinating. I was watching at home alone. I was out, so I had it on record. So I was about half an hour behind the real game. Didn't know what the score was, so I watched it as live. And yeah, and as I put in the notes earlier, about 78 minutes, I really just wanted to shut my eyes briefly, and I nearly went. The thing about the red card, yeah, it was a red card. It can't be debated. He went flying through with his studs up. He only just caught Klein, but my goodness, Klein got really hit. So there was then no question about whether that was a red card or not. But what was really, really distressing was we gained no confidence whatsoever when we were at 11 versus 10. And again, as I put in the notes a little bit earlier, it looked like we were hanging on. We were hanging on 11 against 11, and it didn't seem to change even when we were down to 10 men. Now, Patrick, I know, has he disappeared? Oh, he's there. Yeah, no, Patrick will know. I've seen Palace for many, many years, and with far lesser quality of individual players. But the reason I support this side, and always have done and always will do, is because I've always believed that the side will just give it some. And I've seen even the side that got promoted back in I know it was Championship, but got promoted 10 years ago. Lesser set of players, but more than the sum of their parts. And the worry is with the problems we have. I've heard all the evidence. I'm like the judge sitting here now. I've heard all the evidence from you guys, right? I'll put my wig on. I've heard all the evidence from you guys, and I'm 100% behind. Do we completely change the squad? No, because we've got no money. Even if we had any money, no one's going to come to us, Palace in general, and certainly not Palace that's in a relegation scrap. So we need. This is the perfect time to boot Roy out, because the replay in 10 days' time is like a training match for the new manager. Get a new manager in. He's got a free swing away at Everton. I like the previous caller. Was it Henry? Yeah, it's just I would have preferred to lose, and then I'll get over it in a couple of days. I'm now thinking I'm now waiting 11 days until we lose badly. Until we lose badly at Goodison.
And pick up a couple of injuries, right?
Probably, more than likely. So I think the only scenario here, I think Parish knows a lot more than he can ever give, or than they can ever let on. He's got to guard an awful lot of information about the finances of the club and so on and so forth. So I don't want to beat Parish up too much. He's only the figurehead of the club, and there's only so much investment there. So it is time for a new manager. We need someone who can produce more from that pile of Lego bricks than we're getting at the moment.
So I just want to ask you a quick question about the ownership, because you did say, and I love this as well, because I want different opinions. Because me personally, I'm kind of done with Parish, because then again, if we blame the manager for there's coaches behind the manager, maybe Paddy McCarthy's not doing a job, or Ray Lewington, for example, but the manager takes full responsibility, right? And Steve Parish is running the club day to day. That's why I look at him, especially when you hear reports that other owners are not happy with him as well. But just out of curiosity, where do you stand with the ownership that we have right now? Are you happy with the structure, or is it Parish that you're just happy with?
It's a sordid mess. It's an absolute mess. Because it seems like a cooperative. Like there seems to be many people that have all got a slice of the pie, and if you put one person in charge, they've got 100% direction and everything can go forward. But if we've got two or three, we've got Blitzer, we've got Texter, we've got some of Parish's money, so you've got 3 or 4 people. It's too many cooks spoiling the broth, I think. And I've it seems as much of a mess as when Nodes was in charge at a certain stage, really, when he sold the club on, but he still owned the grounds, and that meant that Simon Jordan could only do so much. The whole ownership of the club is a sordid mess, but there's no. I don't have a solution. I don't have an immediate solution other than some sugar daddy coming in from goodness knows where. The Far East, the Middle East, whatever. Then you've got the ethical issues with the Middle East. But the situation at the moment with ownership is a mess. But let's take it back down to grassroots. We're not here to financially restructure the club. We as fans can just say, look at this run that Roy's been on. It's been appalling. Didn't somebody say that this run is a worse run than Vieira was on?
That's what I think.
It's very, very similar, and we're now staring at the abyss. We're now staring at the abyss. After 2 bad games, we're going to be in the drop zone. So now's the time. Now's the time to get Roy out. Even just get Paddy in to try and run it. No, was that a no, Stan?
Even worse. Right.
Okay, I don't know his track record, but we need Roy out. Better the devil we don't know.
Yeah, we do. But go on, Stan.
I just want to make a few points. And listen, Quentin, I really respect your points. I think you made some really valid ones. Just on Steve Parish, right? Steve Parish is the eighth highest paid director in the Premier League. He's paid £3 million a season. Okay, to run this, what is at the moment an absolute shower of shit, right? Let's not get it twisted. The Americans, so Harrison Blitzer and John Textor, were bought in by Steve Parish. Okay, he found them, he acquired them, he bought them in. Okay, the ownership structure that our club is under currently was designed by and is in favor of Steve Parish. Okay, Steve Parish has the golden share. He has the veto on everything. Okay, he loses his shareholding if the others put more money in for players, etc., etc. He is the reason that we are in the position that we are in. He brought Roy Hodgson back. He brought him to the club the first time and kept him here too long. Okay, and he is the reason that we are where we are, in my opinion. He is the first that has to go. The first. Hodgson, get him gone, whatever. But Parish has got to get out of this club if we are to progress. He is done out here. He's robbing this club blind. He's going on podcasts, gaslighting the fans. He's done out here.
So if Parish takes his hand off the tiller, so if he's at the back of the boat steering the thing, and then he walks away, who would you be comfortable taking over, or what would the situation be if he walked away?
Give it to Harrison Blitzer and let him put some money in because they got plenty of it.
Yeah, but you'd still be happy. Would you still be happy with two American investors in charge of the club rather than Steve Parish, bearing in mind what he's done for the club so far and where his heart is?
100%, because he's taken us backwards, and he will let you think that that's where his heart is, but he's in it for the money and he's clinging on for dear life. Because trust me, 100%, get Harrison Blitzer in to run this football club. They've got bags of money and they can progress us, in my opinion.
Let me jump in on that. Sorry, Quinn, let me jump in on that because Harrison Blitzer, obviously, you guys know they're owners that are here in America. They own a basketball franchise, the Sixers in Philadelphia. They own a hockey franchise, the Jersey Devils, and they also own the Washington Commanders, NFL. What they do, though, Stan, is they don't run the team themselves. They will hire someone to run it for them, which is why they have Parish in charge. They will not run it themselves. They might give you money. They will hire someone they think competent enough to do it, which is why they have kept Parish. That's why Parish is there. So if they do let's say that was to happen, Stan, they're going to bring someone in that
they like Parish.
To run the club.
They get along.
Again,
they're just
the moot point exactly. They love Parish. No, they love Parish. So there's that point also.
Well, they are just investors. Like any of us in the high street can go into a bank and order and buy some shares in a company. We don't want to run it. We just want a share on it, and we want a dividend on our investment.
And they want.
But they've got no idea about football.
They don't. I mean, they own football clubs in
don't.
Europe, but they're not hands-on like people think. They want that return. They want that. They want to be involved. They go into the matches, etc. They don't want to run the day-to-day. Texter does want to do the day-to-day, but he's got Lyon, he's got Botafogo, he's got Molenbeek, he's got other things to worry about. He would do the day-to-day, but he's also involved in those clubs. But those two do not want to be involved in the day-to-day. They don't care enough. They want, like you said, they want the return, they want the money, etc. That kind of stuff. So
buy out Parish, bring your own chief exec in, like a Perslow or someone like that.
There is that solution as well. But for me, look, in an ideal scenario, if I'm being honest, me personally, of course, everyone has their own opinions. I think all three of them gone and new start. Like, I think that's the best case scenario, because I just there's pros and cons for all of them. There's pros and cons for Parish, for Harrison Blitzer, and for Texas as well. So, but something needs to change. But look, Quinton, it was great having you on. Hopefully we can catch up with you again soon. It's always a pleasure talking to you. And we might be maybe the Everton game once again, depending on the replay. Stan saying 15.
Thanks, Quentin. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Quentin,
thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night. Take care.
Good night.
Cheers, guys.
Okay, that was Quentin having his say. If you're enjoying the stream, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe, people. It takes a second of your time and helps us out massively as well. Thank you to every single one of you that's getting involved in the chat. I'm reading through them. Keep the conversation going. I'm going to try read some of them out as well. Let's bring on Mason next.
All right, lads.
Mason, Roy out. Welcome to the channel. Palace 0, Everton 0. Clearly not a Roy Hodgson fan based on your name.
No. Look, I remember before the Brentford game, I was like, you know what? Just out of not really protest, because not a lot of other fans were doing it, but I was thinking, if we don't get a good performance out of this game, then I'm not going. I said, I'm not going to this. And then, like a fool, really, I said, you know what? I'll give him a chance. We got the result. I'll go, thinking things will change. But no, Roy Hodgson, what is he doing? Like, you mentioned it at the start, D, with Elise, playing him for 90 minutes when he was for how many games? 4 or 5 games, when he was advised clearly to not do that. And then you play France for what? 60, 65 minutes and take him off when he is fully able to do 90 minutes. And for large parts of that game, he was the only player taking us forward. And then it just reverted back to the same thing when he got taken off, which was give the ball to Eze, make sure, just try and get him to do something. And it nearly papered over the cracks at the end. If the Everton keeper doesn't make that fine save, we've got a 1-0 win and we're through. And just to see the problems within this club, I'm kind of glad that shot didn't go in, because it had papered over so many cracks in that performance. And if that performance doesn't show that we need players in this window, like, I know what's today's date? The 4th. I know we're only 4 days into this window, but the fact that we're not really looking at anyone. I mean, again, I've seen like soft links with a couple of players, but I haven't seen any serious thinking about this window. Is it going to be the same sort of window as last season, where we didn't do anything until the last day on deadline day? What's going to happen?
But that's the way this club operates.
Does it? I just want to ask a question about the transfer window. Even if we brought in the players, do you have hope that Hodgson will play them based on what we've seen with the likes of France? Maybe if it's more experienced players, yes, but I know it's early in a window and we haven't seen maybe the type of players that we'll be going for. A few names being mentioned, but do you have the faith?
Well, I mean, in terms of Hodgson, which you mentioned, he ain't going anywhere at this point, this moment in time. He ain't going anywhere. We got that win against Brentford in the Premier League. As far as Steve Parish is concerned, we're not at the FA Cup yet, but we all know that we're not beating Everton in that replay. Right. We all know that that's not happening. So, and I said in another stream that I did on my own channel before the game, if we get knocked out of the FA Cup, what is the point of our season? Again, We're 14th in the league, not going for a cup run. So in Steve Parish's mind, we are still going for a cup run. Oh yeah, we're in that hat for the 4th round, but in terms of the transfer window, like you said, no, I don't think Hodgson would play these players, even if we brought in especially younger players. I mean, what done it for me is that he's bringing on Will Hughes before David Ozo.
Yeah.
And the fact that a 9-man Everton for about 5 minutes looked more threatening than us is just so, like, it is so shocking. And I think you heard asked one of your previous callers about what the mood was like. I was in the main stand right at the top corner, basically bang opposite the away fans. And when that full-time whistle went, everyone couldn't wait to get up and get out because it was just, you know, there was no boos, there was no clapping. It was just everyone was silent. It was like a film's just ended at the cinema, and you just get up and get out. Like, you know, we just wanted to get out of there.
So Mason, I'll come back to you. When I was sitting in that part of the main stand for the Fulham game, I got told off for swearing. I got told off for screaming at the bench to Roy to make subs because we were that bad, right?
Yeah. I mean, even when
that's what I'm saying about our fan base, like, we're so blasé at times. There's no one there. Like, if I was there, I'm getting up and I'm telling Parish what for, because he only sits a couple of blocks away. Do you know what I mean? Like, why are we not starting to do that? Like, I don't understand like how we're just tolerating this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but listen, I don't like to get on the fan base's case because I don't want, you know, people looking at me as just like someone who's against the fan base. Like 9 times out of 10, I think this fan base is brilliant. Like, you know, because we get behind the team no matter what most of the time. But I'm getting to a point now where the vast majority of the fans have had enough. But Stan, I'll go back to your point. Like, even when I do my little YouTube videos, and I might raise my voice when I get a little bit, you know, agitated, and I'm saying like Roy's decision making is not good, he has to go. I'm seeing fans around me like quickly looking at me as if to say, what? Why is he saying this? What's he doing? As if it's acceptable what we're watching, what I'm watching.
Yeah.
You know, I've been a fan of this club since 2011. I've seen us get promoted. I've seen the cup run we had towards the final. And the thing is with a cup run is that even in 15-16 season, and I remember you saying down in a previous thing that you think Pardew should have got sacked in that Premier League run. But what kept us going through that season was the cup run. 18-19 season, we were absolutely terrible at home. I remember that's one of the only things I remember in that season. But what kept us going? The cup run.
Right.
If we lose to Everton, and bear in mind with Elise probably still going to be out. We're probably not going to have Ayew again because of the Cup of Nations. And I don't trust Roy to make the right decisions at Goodison. And bearing in mind our terrible run at Goodison Park as well. We've not won at Goodison since September 2014.
Right.
You know what I mean? So with all that in mind, and when it is, we're going to have 4 months of just the same thing, which is just aiming for 11th to 15th finish. And, well, next level, he said, top 10, the other one said. Like, that looks a long way away. Now, I know this wasn't a league game. I know that for a fact, obviously. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that it's the principle is still there. I don't see where we're going. I really don't see where we're going. And again, we lose that game against Everton. Steve Parish is probably going to go, oh, well, he was expected to lose that. We'll go on to the Arsenal game. Oh, look where Arsenal are, top 4. We've got no chance in that one.
There you
go.
Let
him lose. We'll let him lose that. Then we play Sheffield United. Say if we paper over the cracks and maybe scrape a 1-1 draw, we'll keep him on. And then it'll just carry on and on and on until we look at the table and realise that we're in a mess. And, that is as honest as I can put it. Like, I remember in previous seasons, last season's run under Patrick Vieira, I was fuming that season, but I was not like this. Because under Vieira, we still had that run of games in April where I was like, even if we do get rid and replace him with someone, we're gonna get that top of the bottom half finish, if you like. But I'm looking at this today, and I'm like, what is going on? Because again, fans got so twisted when we won that game against Brentford. Everyone started saying, "Oh, look, we've turned a corner." Let's not forget, right? I was actually unaware of Brentford's bad run of form. Before the game, they had one win in 10.
Yep.
And they had 8 or 9 top players for them out injured or banned or suspended, whatever. Right? Effectively, no disrespect to Brentford, but effectively, that was a Carabao Cup side we played. Effectively. And yes, we played a bit better. Yes, Elise and Eze did take their chances when they got them. But I look over at the manager and it's like, what did he do? And then that again, yes, it was a 3-1 win. And I don't like to be negative over a win, but that didn't convince me. But I was still stupid enough to go today. I've pretty much just got back.
So
D, get him on the channel now. Seriously, get him on. Mason's brilliant. Get him on the channel.
If you call him often, you do know your football and what you're saying as well. I just want to quickly ask, where do we go from here? Because you are frustrated. You do want Hodgson out, but do you understand why Parish would keep Hodgson?
No. What's he owing?
Because it's not what he owes him. It's about maybe staying in the Premier League. Are you confident that with Hodgson that we'll still stay up? Don't you think he will be able to get the odd results here and there to keep us up?
The thing is, right, you look at other seasons under Roy and the last season that he had, which was a lockdown season, we were never really in any kind of proper danger, though we were losing games 7-0 to Liverpool, 3-0 to Burnley, 3-0 to an Aston Villa side that pretty much just got promoted and still looked quite bad under Dean Smith, and all the other embarrassing results thrown in there. We weren't in any danger because there was a Sheffield United side that couldn't win for Toffee. I can't remember who else got relegated that season, but I remember the quality. Norwich and whoever else.
West Brom, I think it knows. West Brom. Norwich came up the year after.
Gallagher's West Brom team. You're right, Stan.
Yeah, it was West Brom,
and I
think
Sheffield
it was United and I can't remember off the top of my head.
Fulham went down.
Oh yeah, Fulham. Right, okay. But anyway, those teams you could say on paper and with the managers that they had in charge were terrible than us. I'm now looking at the Premier League where you've got Sheffield United, Burnley and Luton picking up points. They actually have finally found how to play decent football. And even if they're picking up a point here or there, it's still better than what we're doing. And eventually that is going to catch up with us.
Yeah.
You look at Nottingham Forest, 2 wins in a row against Newcastle and Man United. They'll go above us in a heartbeat. You've got what do you call it? Everton are below us, right? Everton, I'll tell you this. They were booing at the end, probably because of the referee and the red card as well. But if that didn't happen and the booing was because they didn't get the result, if I was an Everton fan, I'd have been fuming that they didn't get the result because they had the chances tonight.
They had the chance.
But Everton fans will probably go away from this and think, well, you know what? Not only have we got the league to concentrate on, but we'll probably do them in the replay. They've got the home advantage and everything. Guys, honestly, the future is looking very, very bleak. I can't lie. And with the ownership, I think it's going to take a lot to get them out. We can. It's very easy for us to sit here and say, Parish out, Texter out, and all this and that. But I think protests need to be done in large numbers in the ground. And I don't think... I'm not going to start calling the fan base any names, but I don't think that I don't think the Palace fan base are, able enough to stand up for a long time, by the way, because it's not just one game. We can't all sing Parish out for one game and then expect a miracle to happen. It's got to be over a period of time.
There have been some fans. It's a minority, but there are some fans who are bringing banners to games. I think it was at the Chelsea away game as well.
Only away games, because the club will kick you out if you bring it to a home game.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know how true that is, but I've only seen an away game, so that might be the case. But there are people that's growing frustrations. But right now, I think where we're at is there's a divide. I think this is the most toxic the club has been ever since we got promoted because of expectations. When you stay in the Premier League for this many years and we've achieved how many top 10 finishes? 0?
One.
Yeah, 1. I think 9.
2015.
Yeah, I think it was on the Pardew. Yeah, it was on the Pardew. Was it on the Pardew?
Yeah,
maybe it was on the Pardew. But only one. It might be on Hodgson or Pardew. But we've achieved 1 top 10 finish, and this is where the frustration goes, because it's like what we're doing as a football club, let alone European football, we've only finished in the top 10 once. And we're not really matching expectations with the manager. We're not matching expectations with also the players as well. So it's like what are we doing? It's like what are we doing? And I think that's where the divide comes in. Some people are still content with it. Some people, some, as we know, the ownership, some people like Parish, some people don't like Texter, some people like Harrison Blitz. So it's all over the place. So I think it's a bit hard in terms of protesting, but it might happen. It might happen.
But
I don't know.
The thing is, what I want to know is, you're saying that there's fans that are content. I want to know why. What are you seeing?
I think there's different reasons. I think there's different reasons why fans will be content. Some of them just still look back to the 2010 saying, look, we got saved from administration, and they use that. We've seen worse days. Some say, Parish is a Palace fan, so he will do best for the club. We don't want to risk the future of the club. There's different narratives that I've seen there. So it depends. Some people, they're older than us. Some people see it differently. It just depends on what they see.
I'll make this my final point before I go, because I appreciate you've got people waiting. But you said about those 2 points about the administration, and he's a Palace fan. Yeah, I totally wholeheartedly agree about the administration. I thank him for what he did, because he saved the club from effectively being run into the ground, right? But he has taken the club as far as he can.
Yeah, right? I agree 100% with you. That's what
has done all he can. There's no way. I mean, and the thing is, right, pretty much, right, you said he's a Palace fan and he wants to do best for the club. What, lying to the fans about next level? I mean, I know he's not got a crystal ball. I know he can't sit there and say, oh, this time next year, we're definitely going to be in the top half. But we're not even seeing signs of it.
You know what, though? He will do that. He'll be like Del Boy from Only Fools and Horses. Rodney, this time next year, we'll be millionaires.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah, I think he will do that. But he's been. But the thing is, this is going on for a while, though. He has made a lot of comments. He likes to make comments, but then now I've said it before the season started. When we got Hodgson as a manager, they both have to be held accountable. They said top 10 finish. Parish said it as well as Hodgson, so they have to be held accountable. But we've fallen in. We fell for them promises. We're going to take this club to the next level, and here we are at the same level after another season. And we talk about the Everton game, yes, but I don't think much is going to change this season. And it goes down to the manager. I think the manager right now it's just boring. It's boring. It's simple as that. And Parish just likes to keep it as it is because he thinks that this manager will keep us up, and that's our ambitions. And it's frustrating. It is frustrating, but some people they're happy with it. Patrick, do you want to say something?
Yeah. So D Stan and Mason. The thing is, I understand the mentality that Parish had under Holloway. Made sense, right? Under Pulis made sense. Under Allardyce made sense. Under Pardew made sense. Under Hodgson the first time. But once you got Vieira in, and we're now 10 years in the Premier League, your mindset has to change. You have to say, okay, we've been here for 10 years. We've got Michael Olise, Eberechi Eze, Mark Gahey. You've got young stars, up-and-coming stars who want to go to a next level, right? Let's bring in some more players. Let's bring in a manager. Okay, Vieira didn't work out. Bring a manager in here that's going to want these players to want to stay. But no, he goes back to the same old. And the whole mentality is that I want to stay up. You can't want to stay up after 11 years. It doesn't work that way. I've been a fan for too long. I get the up and down of Palace in the past. I get the roller coaster. I've seen it. I get it. But at this point now, we have to say to ourselves, we've been here for 10 years. I'll say it again. Look at Brighton. Don't look anywhere else. Look at our biggest rival. What are they doing that's so right that we're doing that so wrong? They came up after us, yet they are miles ahead of us. They're in Europe. They're in the top 10.
Yeah, but Patrick, look at other clubs. I mean, I know Brighton obviously is the main embarrassing one because they are our rivals and all that. But Fulham came up in 2022, was it? They've already had one top 10 finish. Right. I know they've been up and down in recent years, but they've came up and they've steadied themselves and they've already got a top 10 finish. Brentford came up from the Championship. They've been in the Championship and League One for however many years.
Forever.
Got 9th place last season. Right. I mean, you look at West Ham. I mean, personally, as a Palace fan, I was fuming when they won that Conference League because I was like, mate,
Don't tell
look
D
at
that.
what they've achieved.
Yeah.
We're
They
just
got
a
a free
club that is
stadium,
so
to be fair.
stale.
That's
To be
but that's
fair.
the one club though, Mason. I disagree with you on because I follow football for a long time. West Ham historically are a bigger club than us and always have been. But I know what you're saying. People want to compare us. I would say Fulham, Brentford though, you're spot on. Those two are 100%. And again, I was in Brighton. But West Ham to me are they really should be in Chelsea level. They're not, but they should be. But you're right. Brentford and Fulham are great examples. You're right. You're 100% right.
So I'll give this is another one here. When Parish and the other consortium took over this club, Brentford were in League One or League Two, I can't remember. They were playing at Griffin Park. Brighton were in League One, and they were playing at the Withdean Stadium. The Withdean Stadium was a Brighton and Hove Council athletics track. And Parish in that time has been unable to even start the build of a lipstick on a pig main stand. You know what I mean? So, but this is what I'm saying. It's all like, it's smoke and mirrors. That's what his company's called. Look it up on Company's House. It's smoke and mirrors. The geezer talks nonsense. He's a fraud.
It's an absolute joke.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Mason, it was a pleasure having you on. Hopefully we'll catch up with you again soon. Make sure to call in.
Wait, one thing, Mason, plug your channel for us, please.
Plug your channel for us, mate.
It's frozen.
No, you froze at the wrong time. Oh, mate.
I think it's Palace Mad Mason, so make sure to check out his channel as well. Search it up on YouTube. But hopefully we have him on.
Mason, thank you.
If you can hear us anyways. Thank you for coming on. What a time to freeze. All right, let's bring on Tim next. Tim, you must be frustrated hearing all these parish out.
Well, there's a lot. Look,
Before
I'm not.
Sorry, Tim, I want to cut you off. Sorry. Before
go ahead, man.
Just your thoughts on the game and what happened today.
Well, I didn't see it. I was listening to.
Yeah. You're so lucky. You are so lucky.
I know. I was listening to Radio 5, and the only thing I could say is it sounded dire. It sounded awful, and it did sound like Richards had a better game, which is nice to hear. But I don't really have. I really don't have a lot of positive comments on the game. D. I don't. Everybody knows.
I'll tell you that.
Tim, before you go ahead, though, can I just give you guys quickly Roy's quotes after the game?
Yeah, I think I know what you're going to say.
Right,
go for it, Patrick.
I think it was certainly a missed opportunity in the last 15 minutes. Take care, Stan. Playing against 10 men, but overall, across the whole game, both teams defend pretty well. It was a game of relatively few chances, a game where both sides were working very hard to stop the other team from creating chances. If you look at it philosophically, then these games often end in a draw. Or a moment of magic decides it for one side. I'm going to throw my phone through the wall in a minute. Sorry. Last paragraph. Unfortunately, we didn't have that magic. We did it in the last few games, but today we couldn't find it. Everton deserved their draw, that is for sure.
I mean, Patrick, it's so... Honestly, I read that too. Right. It is... I'm trying not to be infuriated by it because I really like Roy and I really respect him and I appreciate what he's done for the club, keeping us up with what he had during the period that we've had him. But that is awful, and I just don't want to hear that. And it's hard. It's hard because I agree that it's time. I like the man. I want him to have a special place in the history of the club, but I firmly believe it's time. It's time. I'm frustrated by it. I am disappointed. I do think that we're in a strange place. So what I said, like before I got into the queue, I said what I wanted to talk about is what I would do what I would do now. Yeah, and I think that from Mad Mason, Palace Mad Mason, and he's got good stuff. So, and he was brilliant. He was brilliant.
Very good. Yeah.
As well. Yeah. It'll be great.
Yeah, brilliant call. Really great stuff. So, really big up to him. I thought he was excellent. But it's super disappointing. So what I would do, so let me say this, and I get where Stan's coming from, and I get where the parish out contingent is coming from. I do think the structure of the ownership is an issue. I think it's a significant issue. I think the difference between us and Brighton is Tony Bloom pumps a huge amount of money into that club, and that is different. And we don't have that. We don't have a single billionaire owner who is a fan who's willing to take on debt and not have it get paid back. It's very different. Brighton, I put it this way: this is an Americanism, so you'll have to forgive me for this, but I think Brighton, coming into the Premier League, was already on second base. They had a brand new stadium coming into the Premier League. They had an owner that was pouring in huge amounts of money and didn't have to answer to anybody. I think the better comparison is possibly Fulham, possibly Brentford. So this is where
good examples I made.
Fulham bit on new stand as well, by the way. Well,
and they absolutely did. So here's where I'm at now. Irrespective of the ownership, we have no more time. Starting this summer, we have to sell players. I don't know who we should sell. I would prefer not to sell Michael Elise if we could get away with it.
He's gone. He's gone. He's gone. He's there.
Well, he probably is. But I look, as far as I'm concerned, Patrick, where we are right now, it is rebuild time. It is rebuild time. So if this is the strategy, we cannot wait any longer. We now need to be selling. We are absolutely selling during the summer. Go ahead.
I agree, but it didn't have to be though. If we brought in the right manager, we didn't have to. You know what I mean? But you're right. At this point, it definitely is. I agree. At this point, it is.
We couldn't agree more on this. We didn't have to get to this point about how we've reached this point. And I don't know if we're going to be able to. I'm not sure that we're going to get somebody other than Roy the rest of this season. I do think that it's time for a change. It's getting it doesn't look good, but this is where we're at now. If it's me and I was magically put in charge, like, okay, here's what we're doing. If we can't move Roy, then how many people can I get out on loan now? If I'm selling any of the youth, how many good release clauses can I, or not release clauses, how many good sell-on clauses can I get? Because I got to start getting in money when my talent gets sold and resold. How many people am I looking to sell right now? I'm starting to talk to every single club around the Prem and around the world right now. Where's my talent going to go? Who am I going to sell? Where are the best deals? Where can I get good sell-on clauses? I have to start building right now. And then as far as a model goes, moving forward, so that starts the model. Now we start the clock because we've said that we have that model, but we've never done it. Too late. Now it's time to do it. We're out of time. We do it now. We start this summer. So now we've got to do it. How are we going to scout out replacements, and how much are we going to be doing this? Because I think once we start it, and this is the worry that where I'm not strictly parish out here, but I'm not sure that we have a chief executive / ownership that understands once we start this process, there is no stopping it. You're going to be selling routinely. And ultimately, with an academy, that actually is a good thing. Because if we are selling routinely, then the kids say, well, we brought in that person, but they're going to be here for what? A year, 18 months, 2 years. I'm going to get my chance. So once you start this process, you can't just sell in a window and then go 3 seasons after buying and you're not selling anymore. Once you start, you got to stick with it. So, and I don't think we can wait any longer. I think this is the summer that it starts. Now, we're out of time. Got to do it. So,
yeah,
I'm
we have to do it,
frustrated.
but then again, he has to make sure he appoints the right manager for that approach as well. There is
No
that
question.
as well, because right now, I'll be honest, the manager right now doesn't make any sense to what we want to do with youth, because he doesn't prefer the youth. And we want to play these academy footballers and we want to play the youth, because he just doesn't prefer them. Ozil came on today, that's great. França started the game. França couldn't even play 90 minutes. I was excited to see him, and he had a few spells in the game, but he had to come off. It was his first start. What was the excuse about that? Then again, when it's Elise or anyone else, Elise that's not 100%. He's been advised not to keep him on for that long. He keeps him on for 9 minutes. But França, he wants to take him off straight away. Put Will Hughes as a number 10. Put Almeida right wing. You know, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So yes, that approach, I understand that we have to do that approach, but we have to make sure that we have the right manager. And
no
that
question.
falls down on Steve Parish to make sure he appoints the right manager, because this season is just a waste of time. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't know what we're doing.
It is. There's no question. You have to have the manager to do it. So I'm not holding my breath that we are going to change out Roy between now and the end of the season. But once the summer comes, there has to be massive structural changes. And that structural change it's going to be disruptive. It's going to be weird. We're going to sell a lot of people. We got to get the right manager. But if we do commit to selling, and then we're going to buy with a manager who has some ideas of what kind of players they want, and then we're going to start the clock on selling on a regular basis, that opens the doors for the youth, then I think there can be something there. I still believe in that strategy. I still think that's right. And I don't buy the only thing I'll say about the Parish out thing is I don't buy the idea that Parish is okay with what's going on. I don't buy that. I don't buy that for a second. I don't think he's okay.
If he's not okay, then why is he keeping it as it is? He runs
because I think because I do think it's hard to read the man's mind, but I think the trauma of the administration, it has him sometimes, in my opinion. I don't anymore. Hang on. Let me finish this point. I don't know if this is right or not, but it sometimes feels to me that we make more decisions out of fear rather than hope and belief. And I think sometimes he makes more decisions out of fear than out of hope and belief. And I can understand that. As somebody who is deeply anxious myself, I can totally understand that, especially because, and I think this is something that most of our fans are maybe don't give us aren't as thoughtful about. If we go down, the cost of going down is greater and more dire than it was even 5 years ago. It's so much worse to go down now than it was. So yeah.
The cost of going down is higher. I understand that, but then when you have an owner that's just it reflects back onto the manager. To be fair, even the subs are negative. It's all, oh look, they're attacking down our left hand side. Let's take off França. It's just everything about us is just nervous, risk averse. At what point? Yes, the cost of going down is massive. I get that, Tim, but then again, we're just trying to stay up. There's a bigger chance of you not going down if you actually aim higher, if you invest, if you bring in players, if you're bringing in an ambitious manager. But right now, what it feels like we're doing as a football club is just to stay up in the first place. We're targeting 17th, whereas if you target 10th, and not just target it by word's sake, if you target 10th and you actually aim for it with transfers, you aim for it with the right manager, then there's a less chance of you going down. But we're just targeting to stay up. So we're closer to the relegation as it is. That's what we're just hoping for, just to stay up. We're not aiming for higher. And then the risk of going down is much higher because that's what we want. That's what we want. We're not aiming top 10. And that's why, like, everything that we do, we just, what if that happens? What if that happens? Look, I'll be honest, the Parish's biggest downfall, in a way, was actually hiring Vieira. Because what Vieira done was kind of expose what happens if you actually invest money, if you bring in a progressive manager, and what could happen with the football club. I'll be honest, under Vieira, I loved it in the first season. Maybe second season, it went to shit. The first season was genuinely exciting. And we haven't had an appointment like that. We had a manager who wanted to keep possession of the ball and wanted to attack it. We had a summer where we brought in Elise, Eze. Like, we showed ambition. When we showed ambition, what happened? We went to the FA Cup semi-final. And also, on top of that, we were very unlucky in the league not to finish higher. We were very unlucky not to win games rather than lucky to pick up points. But that went against Parish. You know why? Because now here we are saying, look, we had that. So why are we going back to the old ways rather than actually investing like we did or trying to bring in a progressive manager like Vieira? Why are we taking a step backwards? I think it's his biggest downfall in a way, Parish's hiring Vieira, because it kind of exposed him.
I agree, D, but also I have to give him credit for having Alan Pardew at the same time. Alan Pardew hiring was also a very progressive hire. He got in players like Johan Gabay to the FA Cup final. That went tits up at the end badly, but I'm telling you right now, next to Vieira, Pardew my second favorite manager. He played some great football. We got to the final. I flew over for that final, so I know. So Pardew was also a good hire by him. But again, both of those were out of what I consider to be Parish's comfort zone. He prefers the Pulis. He prefers the Hodgson, prefers the Allardyce. Just keep me up, keep me mid-table, I'm happy. Whereas Pardew was trying to kick us on, and so was Vieira, and it didn't work out. But I think he prefers a Hodgson-type manager because that'll keep us in the division. But you're right. To go to that next step, I don't think he's comfortable with that at all.
You think if De Zerbi was to get sacked for poor run of form, they're going to go back to Chris Hughton? You ever think Brighton's going to go back to Chris Hughton? No, because they know the times have changed. They're going to try to find another manager that's progressive, that fits the system. What did Parish do? Brought in Hodgson for 10 games. Fair enough. You bring him in for 10 games. Then after that, his biggest mistake, and it shows what he wants to do with the club, is to keep Hodgson for another year. You just don't hire a manager for a year.
I don't believe that. You don't seriously believe that he wants to keep Hodgson after this season.
No. I'm talking about this season. After the 10 games.
Okay. You had me worried for a second there.
But even this season, why are we keeping him for another season? You think Brighton will do?
Oh, no. I'm not trying to.
No, they don't.
I'm not trying to disagree with you there, D. I just you had me scared for a second.
Because we're not a serious football club. We're basically what we done is we had.
I'm going to disagree with you.
We had a Graham Potter. We had a Graham Potter, and then maybe ended a bit differently. But we went back to Chris Hughton. That's the equivalent. That's what we've done. And here we are with Chris Hughton.
I get that. I get that. I do think that's the only. We agree on a lot of this stuff here. I don't agree that we aren't a serious football club. I think that Steve Parish makes some decisions out of fear, and I think that fear is in some ways deeply justified because we don't have the things that a lot of the clubs around us have, except for the catchment area. And we're only really
like what don't
we haven't even started to figure out what we can do with the academy yet. But we've been way behind. That's not wrong either. Like all of this is right. But you can't have, we're not West Ham. We didn't get a free stadium where we get the match day revenue from the free stadium, but West Ham gets that. We aren't Brighton, who gets $500 million from Tony Bloom with, hey, keep it. You can have it. We don't have that either. There's a lot of things we don't have. So in order to do what we want to do, which is be a permanent resident of the Premier League and move up, we have to do things that are much harder than anybody else around us has to do. I think Parish sees that, and he's trying to do it. But I don't disagree, D, that you can't like the point that you guys have all been making, which I think is right. Like, you can't say on the one hand, we're kicking on, we're going top 10. We think we can go top 10 with this team and not really mean it. Like, you can't do that. I mean, he probably does mean it. He probably thinks that Roy could work some kind of miracle, but we know
deluded.
we just know that isn't that is probably a little bit delusional.
Then he's deluded with his approach. Like, he says words. We're going to take this club to the next level. Oh, just shut up about next level. Where's the next level? Where's the ambition? We didn't show that in the summer. We didn't show anything that we're going to take it to the next level.
Right, and the thinness in the squad.
That's fine. We didn't strengthen the squad
on this board.
It's nothing. This winter, we're talking about loan moves and maybe one permanent signing. There's no ambition. Like, it's just talk, and I'm tired of talk. If I want Hodgson out of the club because of results, because I don't know, maybe Ray Lewis is not doing a good job. Maybe it's not even Hodgson. There's other coaches behind him, right? But Hodgson is still, end of the day, responsible for managing the team. And end of the day, when we have poor results or poor performances, we don't talk about Ray Lewington. We don't talk about Paddy McCarthy. We talk about Roy Hodgson because he's the manager. So if I want Hodgson out of the club for poor results, I want Steve Parish out for running the club day to day and ending up in this position, and for all the reasons that I've listed as well. Because yes, he might be risk averse, he might be all of this, but for me, I'm tired of his lies, because he just says things for the sake of saying things, and he fools some fans. But I think that's turning now. A lot of fans are not buying into his word. He runs the club day to day. John Texer came out, also spoke about him as well. It's not a good look on him, and I'm just tired of it. Ideal scenario, we have a fresh start with one owner. All three of them were to leave. That's ideal scenario. But for now, if I want Hodgson out for bad results, I want Parish out for running the club day to day, for bad running of the club. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't know what Texter's doing. Does Texter even have the power? What kind of power does Texter have? Because it seems like Texter is 2 against 1. Harrison Blitzer and Parish against John Texter, even though he owns more shares than all of them. So it's crazy. It's crazy how we're run. So he needs to be taking responsibility. He needs to be responsible for how we're run day to day, because that's his job. And here we are talking about another season of a poor season. But look, Tim, there's other people waiting, and it's very late on.
No, you gotta go. Yeah. It's an ugly day. I'm kind of with Henry and Patrick. I'm not so sure I want to see this replay.
I ain't watching. I promise I ain't watching.
It doesn't sound great. But look, man, I mean, you guys are awesome. I mean, it's a hard time right now, but hopefully in the summer we will actually we'll start this strategy we've been talking about for too long. We need to do it.
That's what we're Premier
anyway.
Club. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Take care, Tim.
Take care, guys.
Take care, my friend.
All right, let's bring on Nick next. Nick.
I gotta go. I've got to go. Sorry.
yeah. We'll just all right, then.
Right, about the game. It was horrendous conditions. You weren't there, were you? You didn't watch the game?
I didn't go to
horrendous conditions to watch the game, to play in. You could see the players. They hated being in that pissing rain. Henderson, what a save in the first half. Every time I see him, it makes me think that 30 million was money well spent. As he's a class keeper. França, it's a bit of a cliche to say he needs to bulk up a bit, but he showed good promise, but he was easily off the ball. How shit was the ref? How he did not see and blow up for the sending off in the first place anyway is beyond me, because everybody else saw it.
Yeah, I don't know, Nick. It wasn't that. You had to see it again. It wasn't that clear cut. It really wasn't that clear cut, honestly. I don't think it was that clear cut, that red card. I'm glad he gave it to him, but not that it helped us. But
honestly, he didn't even blow up for a foul, Patrick. That's what I'm saying.
But my point is, I'm saying I don't think it was that clear cut of a foul. If you watch it again, of course, on a replay, it looks really bad. But I'm telling you right now, one Nathaniel Klein didn't go down as poorly as I thought, but he caught him kind of high. Again, I just don't think it was a clear-cut red card. Honestly, I don't think Kavanaugh is not a good referee. The yellow card on Eze was a joke. But I'm just saying that the fact he missed it the first time does not shock me. Again, I don't think it was a clear-cut red card, but again, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose when you're thinking about that, I saw the replay on the Jumbotron up the other end of the pitch. You've got to think about intent there, haven't you?
Yeah, I don't think it's mean. I don't think we're trying to hurt him.
Yeah.
Do you think you're trying to hurt him? He's going for the ball. I mean, Calvin was.
He didn't
not
seem
that
that
guy.
upset when he was going off the pitch, though, Calvert-Lewin. He seemed like he was kind of waiting for it. I don't know. I was not at the ground, but his reaction wasn't like, "Oh my, how did I get a red card?" He seemed.
And what happened with the Everton guy who got stretchered off at the end? Did he get shoved into the holdings, or I couldn't?
No, his own player injured him. It was either Branthwaite or who's the other? Tarkowski. One of them came down. I think he's done his knee or it's really bad. It was
I knew it was bad because he put his hand in the air straight away.
It's really bad. Yeah, he got his leg put it in an air cast. It looks really bad. But yeah, his own player hurt him, not anybody else.
Well, Mateta got a yellow card for it, by the way.
It was Mateta was arguing about something. He was arguing with
the Everton player was Everton defender was adamant that he'd been shoved by a Palace player.
Yeah, if you watch the replay again, it was definitely Tarkowski injured him. It wasn't a Palace play. Maybe Mateta pushed him into him, but I didn't see that part. I only saw Tarkowski come down on his leg. It was bad. It was bad. So
the other positive was David Ozo. What he did in the few minutes that he was on, he just had vigor, verve, intent. Quite what Hughes did when he was on, I don't know, apart from rile a couple of the Everton players up. But
we got to discuss that guy more often. I mean, I'm not going to get into it now, but Will Hughes doesn't do nothing for me anymore. I'm sorry.
No.
He doesn't do nothing. I don't know why you get minutes.
You said it in the WhatsApp earlier, Patrick. You love watching Hughes on Palace TV, but that's about it.
Great guy. He's a great guy, but on the football pitch, what at this point in his career, he should not be coming in over Ahmad or Ozo or even Gyro, for crying out loud. Even Gyro should get minutes over this guy. I don't understand why the fixation. I gave the veteran, and he had it. Did he have at Watford? I'm not sure. Was he at Watford when he went down? I'm not even sure. Probably was. So Hodgson knows.
Talking of Watford, how shit was Roy at Watford?
Well, no comment.
You went Watford, didn't you, D? They were appalling, weren't they?
No comment.
Yeah.
How bad were they? He's got to.
As bad as we look now.
As bad as we are now. Yeah, as bad as we are now. Maybe that's
Yeah, but he's got to go just to give the team like somebody an earlier caller said about getting the free hit in the cup, having a couple of weeks off. But we didn't want another game, did we?
But he's not going, Nick. So we keep talking about he's got to go. He's not going. We all know
because
he's not
we are
going.
treading water, and Parish thinks
it's so frustrating because he's not going anywhere. We all know at this point. So it's so.
But Parish thinks the odds are on us staying up, and one year it's going to bite him on the arse because for him, I think it's a treading water season.
Right.
And that bullshit about pushing on to the next level, that's like Boris Johnson just saying what people want to hear just to get him out of his air until next time he's asked about something.
Wait, I know one guy here said we're going to finish 9th this season. I won't mention names, but one guy of this three ninth. Who was that, Nick? Was that you?
Me.
It was Nick.
I predicted 4th. Do you remember that?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to get into that.
1
year at a time. This year, you said 9th. I predicted 16th. So
I didn't realize I said that. Yeah.
It wasn't you. It wasn't you. It was Nick. It was Nick. Nick said 9th.
But it's treading water. And as I think I said, we go back every week. Henry was right earlier with his little moans about the board. Tim, yes, I agree with him about Parish being worried about previous times we've gone into administration. We've said that in the past on the podcast, haven't we, Patrick?
That's true.
Whereas, Tony Bloom's been mentioned, he's a professional gambler. He's taken a punt. All right, that's as far as you can take that analogy because they've got the infrastructure in there at the club. And I know Doug is a good man for finding talent. We've seen the players that we've got through it into us over the years. It's just the whole rigmarole about signing players. And, I don't know, Patrick, you didn't seem to think that many chairmen looked at players that they were buying. I disagree there.
In 2024, that shouldn't be a chairman's job. It shouldn't be. If you're a director of football and a manager and a chief scout, that's their job. Chairman can say, okay, I'm writing the checks, whatever. But my chairman in 2024 should not be looking at videos and saying, okay, that guy's good. Oh, that guy's rubbish. No, I want Dougie Freeman. I want our chief scout. I want even Hodgson, God forbid, can have a say, but not the chairman. No. Not in 2024. Maybe 20 years ago, Nick, 10 years ago. But Premier League side that has that, to me, as someone said before, as Dee said, is not a serious club. It's not a serious club.
Is that where we're missing the trick? Is the manager not having enough of a say in the type of players
God
we
forbid.
get? Is he saying,
No.
Let's not even go there.
No.
Hodgson. We'll have Glenn Johnson back as a right back. Let's just stop.
Making our signings. No.
Anyway, I ain't going to the replay. I'm off to a festival tomorrow. Happy New Year, everyone. I'll let the others get on because it is very, very late.
Great to see you, buddy.
All right, then.
And I've missed you today, Dee. I'll see you on the 30th. Have you got your Arsenal tickets?
Yeah, you will.
I'll see you on the 20th then.
Yeah. All right, then. Yeah, not 30th. All right, let's see.
Glory Hunter. Going Arsenal. Love it. Glory Hunter. Love it.
All right, let's bring on Rich and Patrick at the same time because it is very late and we have been going on for an hour and a half. Rich, how you doing, bro? Patrick? Rich, you look tired. You look frustrated. I don't know what you are. I'm tired, to be fair, as well.
Hey, Patrick, before Rich goes, Patrick, you got to change that, man. I'm not playing with that. That number one fan thing is not fun anymore. Get rid of that.
No.
Not fun anymore. The banter's done. We're not doing that anymore. Get that off, man. You're getting
that's fine.
You're taking the piss. No.
I want to remember the legend of Roy from last year, not what the hell I'm looking at this year.
All right, let's start with you, Rich, and then we'll go to Patrick. Just quickly about the game.
Look,
it's not even a loss. It feels like a loss. It's not even a loss.
I am tired. You're right. I'm just tired of what I'm watching. But I would like to say, Tim, welcome to the Roy Out community.
Yes.
Welcome.
Tim has been here since the Brentford. Yeah. It's just
official now.
It's one day maybe with the ownership, maybe. Yeah.
You know where it is. I am so ticked off that week in, week out, we're asking this guy to make substitutions, yeah?
Right.
And he either doesn't make substitutions or he makes them late. The one time he decides to actually make a sub in the 70th minute,
it's funny.
He takes off the one player who we actually want to see.
Yeah.
And then, in all fairness to him, was probably having going forward was the better of our players. Now granted, it did look like he may have been tiring a bit, but all you had to do is not take him off. It's just change his position. Instead of having him being a winger, where he's having to go up and down, you take Ebbs off, who was having a stinker again, by the way. And I love Ebbs. But this whole reliance on just keeping these players on who are not playing well needs to stop as well. Put Francis in the middle because he has to do less running. And we work it from there. Another thing, Ahmed is not a right winger.
He looks so bad over there.
Game.
Exactly. So he looks bad, but he's not a winger, right? He looks bad. He shouldn't be there.
Everything that was happening was
Put a buoy over there. Put Malcolm on. Malcolm has been on the bench 11 games and not played one single minute. Not one. Why is he on the bench?
It's crazy.
That Will Hughes substitution wasn't progressive enough for you.
Oh my gosh! Don't even get me started on that one.
I'm gonna leave it there, and I'm not gonna say nothing about Will Hughes. I'm done.
Wait, why was Hughes coming on in the first place? I don't get it.
I don't even know. He's coming on as a number 10.
Solidify the time to get to Everton.
Yeah, we're trying to get a point against Everton. Well, it's not a league game. I don't think you got
trying to get a replay.
Trying to get a replay against Everton because we can't beat them at home. We're going to beat them away from home. But yeah, look, I think the subs. Let's just land there. It was confusing. But before France did go off, what did we think about his performance? I'll ask you this, Patrick, and Richard can jump in after. What do you make of France's first half for Palace?
I think he played out of position. I think he's either better on the left or down the middle. I thought he was really the only one that really wasn't afraid to go forward. Him and Mateta. I mean, and where they were trying to pass, that's part of the problem with Ebb's performance today. I call him the shadow because since he signed his contract, he's been a shadow of himself. But nobody wanted to pass the ball forward. The middle was a waste. Once again, we got Boston in midfield. So you're passing Franca the ball on a position he's not as good at. They can just body him up. He can't use his speed. He tried a couple of 1-2s. I thought the performance was solid, but I didn't think his coach did him any favors whatsoever.
Rich?
Between him and Lerma, they were our best players, personally. And granted, yeah, I agree. France, I think, is better suited on the left or in the middle. But he was the most progressive player that we had. And bless him, like, for the first 10, 15 minutes, it's like no one wanted to pass to him.
Yeah.
You know,
like 4 touches in that first 15
so
minutes.
much width. Yeah, he had so much width. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, he's got the ball, and he starts running at them. And they're like, oh, is this what he can actually do? Like, yes, give him the ball. Give him the ball. And
he tried to progressively pass a couple times too to open guys that just would not make runs into the box.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly that. And I think this is why I was so frustrated with Roy's substitution. The moment he was actually getting more of an impact going forward is when he took him off. You saw him floated inside. He drifted off to the left-hand side. Like, he was literally positively affecting the game. You know, Everton had to double up on him. Mikalenko, first 15 minutes, had his number. After that, France, he was like, oh, I'm worried here. I'm really worried here. Then he gets hooked.
You know, it's funny also, really funny that they really should have put him on Coleman's side, for him to go at Coleman instead of Mikalenko. Mikalenko's a better defender than Coleman. And put Schlupp on. I don't care if Schlupp doesn't get by Mikalenko at all. Put him on that side and then put France to go against Coleman, because Coleman's older, he's slower. You know what I mean? It was weird tactically why you would put the kid out of position. And again, he did show that he can play there, but he's not that. He wants to play either central or on the left, because he wants everybody else. He wants to invert. He wants to cut inside on his right foot, cross the ball wherever, like Ebbs does, take the shots inside. Play him on the right side. Honestly, I think he was doing it. To me, honestly, made him look bad, and he didn't even play that poorly. But it was not a good idea to put him on that right side. Again, play players where they should play.
Why was Schlupp even playing? He hasn't played much.
That was my question as well.
No, I'm not talking about. I know that's the eternal question, but seriously, like, he looks out of shape. He hasn't played in 3-4 games more than a minute or two. And
okay, he played because I was at AFCON and Lise is injured. Only reasons why he played.
Then put Edouard over there. He's put Edouard over there.
Edouard's coming up injury too. I wouldn't want to get him re-injured in that game.
Well, I wouldn't either, but Roy doesn't. My man, unfortunately, my favorite manager of all time there, and I'm kidding about that part of it, but he just, that's why he's got to go. He's not going to go, but he's got to go. I mean,
you know what's so funny? The fact that you're a Roy #1 fan, and and the last few shows you've even said it, like, he's got to go.
Yeah. You know what the bigger issue is, and everybody, even with they're saying, well, next year we'll go down, or this, that, or the other. Guys, look at that schedule. We don't have a run of games the rest of the year that you could say we can win 3 or 4 in a row. It's the points are going to be chopping back. We got Sheffield United in 2 weeks. Yeah, I mean, and you can't even say Luton. You just can't say, okay, it's Luton, so we're going to stay up. You can't say that, because Luton, that the manager them has them fighting for every single point, and they're looking to add people. Luton, I mean, their stadium's the size of my bedroom here. I mean. Roy will take us down, which is sad. I mean, that's not a panicking fan. That's reality, folks. Everybody's going to look to add. Sheffield United's looking to add. Luton's looking to add.
Another thing is, I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. We don't even have a style of play. There's no patterns of play. Everton went down to 9 men for a brief moment. Obviously, I've heard that Matt Neal's okay. There was rumors it was a leg break, but now I'm hearing it's just.
Oh, good. Okay, that's good to hear.
That's good news that he's not in. But they went down to 9 men at one point, and still had a pattern of play.
They created chances with 9 men. They created their chances than we did with 11. It didn't make any sense. If
they were still going forward,
they would have scored maybe in the final few minutes.
It's absolutely crazy, and that's the bigger issue. That if we're not relying on individual brilliance, then there's nothing for us. You know, so.
Well, everybody's playing out of position. I mean, Chris Richards very good.
That too, actually.
He can't progress the ball. He needs somebody next to him that can progress the ball for him to be fully effective. Lerma can't do that. Lerma has one good pass every once in a while. He's a good box-to-box guy, but like we talked about Saturday, Saturday, I think it was. No goals, no assists. He had a couple of posts, but he needs somebody next to him. Or just put him in the back and flip. And D said this last year as a joke.
Yeah.
Just flip Anderson into the damn midfield.
Yeah. Blaming them.
And put Richards Gahey because they locked it. That tandem last year had locked everybody the 4 games they played. Sorry, Patrick. Go ahead. I think
No. So, Pat, you make it great, but so 2 things. One, Richard's point about pattern the play is exactly right. I don't know what we're trying to do, but Pat's point about out of position. Today he played 3 players out of position. He played Richards out of position. He's out of DM. France out of position. He's not a right attacking midfield or whatever. And Schlupp out of position, not left winger or whatever he's playing today. So you cannot expect to have a cohesive unit when you have no patterns of play and you got 3 players out of position. Maybe 1 you can get away with it every once in a while. 2 possibly. You've got 3 players and 3 what I would say important positions because the DM is very important, obviously. And obviously the 2 wide players are important if you want to get any kind of attacking going. And if you're relying on 1 player today in Eze, maybe França at a push, but it's his first start, to win you a game. It doesn't. Doing what, though? Are you trying to press? Are you trying to counterattack? What are we trying to do? We're not trying to do anything 2024 football. We're just out there saying, okay, go out there and play. This is not sustainable, which is why we've gone in this long stretch of not doing very well besides Brentford, because we don't know what we're doing out there. We rely on Michael Olise's brilliance, and he was, or Ebbs before Olise came back. It's ridiculous, and it's not sustainable. And Pat's right. Look at the schedule. We don't have 3 games, 2 games we can win in a row right now. Not even 2. If you play Arsenal, then you got Sheffield United. Then you play Brighton. Then you got Chelsea. Every time you play, you can win 1, you're going to lose 2. You win 1, you're going to lose 3.
I think it's the end of February and the first couple of weeks of March. There's like a 3 out of 4 where you got Luton and Burnley and or
and
something
Tottenham.
like that.
You're right. That's what it's Burnley, Tottenham, Luton. You're right.
And that's it.
And that's if we do well.
You're going to need those 9 points in Sheffield United.
You know what I found funny watching today? We tried to deploy the Brentford tactics against an Everton side who's definitely more physical than we are. We were trying to ping the ball into Mateta. Like, Tarkowski was all over him, you know. It's not going to work against an Everton side. What you've got to do is try and play between the lines. And they had our midfield on smash.
They have a physical midfield even without the core. The Sean Dyche team, you know what you're getting.
Onana,
Boston midfield, physically. The only guy that stood up to me was Richards. He's the only one. Lerma was running back and forth, side to side, but Richards was the only one physically I thought that stood up to the challenge.
Yeah. Look, it's very late. I'll be honest. It's very late in the night. It's like 12:30. I haven't even had my dinner yet. You lot make some great points about the situation, but I'm like,
they lock off the stream and go to bed.
I've been talking about a game which is like,
wait, pay ratings tonight, no?
Nah, I'm good. There's no ratings, But
1, 4, 3.
Yeah, 1, 4, 3. Yeah. Just barely any ratings.
Not worth it.
But look, I think Richards had a solid game. Yeah, Richards had a solid game. Francis shouldn't have been subbed off. Henderson's looking better, but I mean, it doesn't change much because in attack, we're still terrible. We did look so. Eze is not himself, and it's the same old, and we have to face Everton again next, apparently on 50th of January or that week right before Arsenal. It's just like, what is the point?
You mean you're not going?
I'm me going to. No way am I going. No way am I going up there. Today I didn't even go to Sellers Park. I didn't even go to Sellers Park today. And I'm not going to Liverpool. There's no point. There's literally no point. Whoever's going, hats off to them. But I can't go during the week. But yeah, it's going to be.
I have some good news though. As far as the schedule goes. Everton play Villa on the 14th of Sunday. So that game will now be probably the Wednesday because they can't play Monday. I think you can't play Monday or Tuesday, actually. That game won't be until the 17th now, but they have a game before then, right? Would that make sense, or am I saying it wrong? Is it the following week? Right, they're playing it the 15th week. Starts at the 15th, right? The week of the 15th?
It'll be the week on the 15th, so I reckon.
Yeah, so that game will be on a Wednesday. The only good news is that Everton have a game right before. Hopefully, they won't put out their first team squad you know.
But we went as well, though, because we got Arsenal on Saturday.
Patrick, we only have a first team squad left with more injuries coming.
Yeah, well, that's on your manager. It's not on me. It's on
Patrick,
your manager.
Is that a league game with Everton?
It is. Remember they have the win the break. Remember some teams play on the 14th, some teams play on the Yeah, some teams play on the 14th. Some
they got a league game before us. Yeah,
they have a break in between.
Yeah.
Right, so they have.
But then after we have a league game anyway, so they're gonna go through that league game. Then we have.
No, I get that. I'm just saying they play before us, so that's the only thing I'm saying. Maybe it might help us. It might not, but it might not. It might help having them play before we play. I don't know. It's gonna kill us the Arsenal game, but whatever.
They should field an academy team. We shouldn't even try to go forward any further. Really, I mean, if that's what they're gonna put, all joking aside,
with this manager, I don't think that's happening. The spoiler that I just don't think that's happening. I think it'll be the same players. That's the problem. He's gonna play the same players, and these players are gonna just be. They're just. I feel sorry for them, man. But they're getting paid a lot, not in that aspect, but still, like, geez, at least there's a little bit of a break. But it's gonna be the same lineup over and over and over and over again. Some of these players, I guess, if you enjoy playing football and you don't feel tired, then great. But for those who actually care about their well-being, it just feels crazy. They just seem like they're going to be playing for the rest of the season.
Sorry, I didn't mean to ruin your birthday, buddy. Sorry about that. I apologize.
But yeah. Well, look, Rich and Patrick, pleasure having you on. Sorry, I am very tired, but you did make some great points. I was, about the France, etc. I'm frustrated as everyone else. Honestly, I'm frustrated. It doesn't make sense. I laugh about it now, but it just doesn't make any sense. Like, the fact that we have to France. What was that?
You got to laugh at it because, like I said, that was my manager. Yeah, I defended him beginning of the year and the end of last year, but I can't defend it no more. You just got to look at it with comedy now, man. I mean, we're now Celta Vigo, like we're the Celta Vigo of La Liga. And hey, Benitez might get fired. We can bring him in and play the same way.
Probably. Wow. That's what we're gonna end up with if they get scared. But look, Patrick and Rich, hopefully we catch up with you after the Everton game again. It seems like because it seems like we're facing them again.
You're wicked, D. You're wicked, man. You're not a nice person.
All right. You're not a nice person. All right, then, Rich, Patrick, take care. Have a good night.
Take care, guys.
Okay, now we're gonna wrap up here. Thank you to every single one of you that's joining us live. If you have enjoyed it, make sure to smash the like button. It really helps us massively. And subscribe if you're new here, not to miss out future Palace content. Of course, we'll be here with the live Palace news because the transfer window is open. So there'll be updates coming throughout the week, and we'll most likely be here tomorrow if there's any news. But yeah, we'll see what happens with the transfer window. That's it from me and Patrick. Thanks to every one of you that's called in as well. We'll see what happens against Everton, I guess, next time around. But for now, up the Palace.